Warriors of Matrimony, written by Kenneth E. Fultz, Jr., narrated by DeRilly. Chapter 9. Pitiful Reunion. Kalich slept in the futon, with a letter by his head. He slowly began to wake up.
Annala.
He lifted himself out of the covers when he spotted the letter in the bed. He unfolded the note and began to read. Kalich, I'm going on ahead without you. You're still too injured to fight the Saron army. I will go to the capital alone and get Kalidor back. Stay back and heal. Kalich held the paper tight in his hands. You will need to be strong when you see her again. Kalich crumpled up the paper. The paper dropped to the ground. Kalich pushed his hand through his jacket, being fully dressed. His jacket was open with the rest of his clothes adjusted. He opened up the door. An electric purple sphere surrounded the house. Kalich walked out of the house onto the veranda, looking around at the sphere.
A barrier, huh?
Kalich stuck his hand out toward the sphere, but didn't touch it.
No doubt blast and cut-proof.
Kalich brought his arm down.
There's always melting.
Annala kneeled down on the wall of Shiwang, in front of the damage done from yesterday. She placed her hands down on the ground. It seems that those annoying red sharks spoke the truth. Annala looked toward the city, which means all the trouble they caused might give me a good opening. I hope the Queen's in a good mood. Lines curved and reformed the damaged wall. I'm coming, sweetheart. A large celebration happened below in the city. The sphere melted around the house. Kalich slipped out of it. Tyson sat in his cell with his hands behind his back by iron sleeves. His eyes were closed. Light shined through the window behind him. Tyson tilted his head to the side.
Today seems like a good day for a heist.
Tyson opened his eyes and stood up. He ran back into the wall behind himself repeatedly. A metal rod fell out of the bottom of his bomb. The flat surface of the rod danced around on the floor.
Better hurry.
Tyson moved forward, a sharp steel blade extended out, cutting into the iron sleeves. Tyson brought his fist forward. The guards looked inside to see what was going on. The cell door blasted open, sending them backward. Tyson walked out of the cell with the bomb and cuffs now gone.
Sorry, ladies. I have a princess to find.
2 guards stood at their posts at the front door of the Saron military base. Iron boxes formed around them, trapping them inside. Loud bangs came from inside them. Annala landed down on the porch in front of the door. Sorry about this. Annala took her keys from a pocket in her uniform and unlocked the door. Kalidor sat on the edge of the large pink bed in her mother's old room. Her hands covered her face, crying. The door opened. Kalidor looked up. Tyson had his hand on the door as he stepped in.
There's my little sister.
Tyson! Kalidor ran up to him, giving him a hug. You're okay? Tyson picked Kalidor up from under her arms.
You ready to get out of here?
Kalidor raised her arms.
Yeah!
Annala ran into the battle room. The room was large and clear of obstacles, with a catwalk over the top right of the room, and a second hallway was on the other side.
So, you finally made it,
said the person in front of her. Lieutenant Colonel Lei.
Welcome home, Second Lieutenant Annala.
Kalich ran up to the porch of the Saron military base. He stopped at the end of the steps. He looked at both the iron boxes.
Gotta be the right way.
Kalich ran into the base. The lieutenant colonel swung her spear into Annala's double-armed blade weapon with a chain that attached them. Annala was pushed back. Annala swung the left blade over her right shoulder to have it stab into the ground as she spun herself into the air. She designed 4 knives to go in between her fingers and threw them once she made it, as high as she could with her other weapon. Ling easily avoided them and redesigned her spear to extend up to Annala. Annala blocked the spear with her right blade. She continued by flipping over her weapon.
So, you really are a traitor.
Annala landed behind Ling, sliding back.
I simply want my daughter back.
Ling twisted around to face Annala.
Then return back to us. Have you forgotten your pride as a Saronian woman?
Ling's spear returned back to normal size. She charged at Annala with her spear out to the side. Annala flipped up on her hand, designing blades on her shoes to counter Ling's spear work. Annala moved back and formed two swords that she held in her hands. She crossed them to block Ling's spear.
I've never forgotten. Huh. I say you've gotten weaker over the past 5 years.
Ling pushed the blades up and kicked Annala in her side, sending her flying into a wall. Tyson and Calidora entered the room from the catwalk when Calidora stopped halfway to look down. Tyson saw her and trailed back.
Why are you stopping? We need to keep moving while the coast is clear,
Tyson said. Calidora pointed down to the wall opposite them.
Mama!
Tyson looked out to see Annala against the wall, her hand wrapped around the railing.
Annala's here?
Ling walked toward Annala. Tyson tightened his grip around the railing as he bit down on his teeth.
And she's fighting against the Lieutenant Colonel.
Ling stepped closer to Annala.
You really have fallen into the weak mindset of the Camgonian nation.
Annala glared up at her.
I'm not weak.
Annala sprung up with a spear in her hands. The fight continued, with the two going back and forth with their spears. They both showed clear skill in their weapons, with added flexibility and grace as they held the other off. At the same time, Annala designed armor over her joints to better protect them from attacks. Calidora and Tyson watched in awe at the battle. Bells and blade clashes echoed throughout the room.
So this is what top designers can do when they're serious. I've never seen anything like it.
Mama is strong like Daddy.
Tyson looked down at Calidora.
Your dad, huh?
Tyson focused back on the battle.
I think you might be underestimating your mom there, kid. She's one of the best warriors I've ever seen.
Annala spun through the air, clashing with Ling on the floor. The added power pushed the Lieutenant Colonel back. Annala stuck her hand out, designing 4 blades on the front and back sides of Ling that extended toward the woman.
This ends!
Ling leapt out of the trap, creating several lances in the air in front of her. She launched them all at Annala. Annala jumped back, avoiding every strike. Ling came down with her spear, breaking Annala's shoulder pad. Annala turned and leapt away from the Lieutenant Colonel before she could do any further damage.
I really have lost my touch,
Annala said. Ling's shadow cast over her. Ling kicked her back. Kalich ran down a hallway.
Where could Annala and Calidora be in this maze?
Annala rolled back across the floor, with all of her armor breaking off along the way. Annala fell flat on her face. Her spear was gone.
And to think you once almost equaled me in combat,
Ling said. Annala picked herself up off the ground. Ling stuck her hand out.
What a joke.
Cords with bullet point tips extended out of the ground, stabbing Annala through several places. The cords pushed her back into the wall, breaking it and having dust cover the woman. Calidora leaned forward.
Mama!
No wonder she's the Lieutenant Colonel,
Tyson said in shock.
She's completely ruthless.
The dust cleared with the cords retracting. Annala had several holes in her bloody body. She collapsed to the floor with her head turned to the side.
It seems this battle is over. I'm now taking you into custody alongside your daughter.
Calidora had tears in her eyes. She lifted herself over the railing.
Mom!
Tyson covered her mouth and pulled her back, holding on to her.
You have to be quiet, Calidora. We'll be caught.
Calidora struggled in Tyson's arms, trying to reach her mother. End of Chapter 9.